So hello and good morning everyone. So it's day 22 and I'm happy that it's been 22 days I've been reading without any gap. And yesterday's streaming, I woke up late yesterday, around 6:19 a.m. So I started the stream at around 6:22 a.m. But Facebook wouldn't let me stream that on my personal Facebook profile, and so I had to only be happy with the YouTube and Twitch and Periscope. So, but also YouTube got disconnected for some reason after 2 minutes, so you won't be getting any videos in YouTube more than 2 minutes from yesterday. You can still watch the video on the Twitch or Periscope. So Periscope, the video will be always there, I guess, but Twitch, it will be available for 15 days, next 15 days. So yeah, and let me just check whether this stream is actually working or not, because otherwise I'll be talking to what ghost. So yeah, I think, yeah, so this video is working fine. So let me just share it with my page. So yep. So yeah, I am sharing this on my Facebook page as well. So if you haven't followed me on YouTube, Facebook or Instagram, go ahead and please follow me. And yeah, so I'm really happy that I have been reading this book, Start With Why, because I asked this question, because I was confused about factfulness and Start With Why and Kaizen. So I have asked this question in my Instagram and my personal Facebook profile and my other personal members. So they all said that we should go for factfulness and or Start With Why. And because factfulness has the most vote, so I read the book Factfulness, but I really wanted to read the book Start With Why. So yeah, and I'm really happy that finally I'm reading this book. This will be the last book of this 30-day reading challenge. Yes, there are nine more days left. Yeah, 9 more days left, but yeah, 22, 28. Yeah, there is 9 more days left. So I thought that I won't be I will be reading for two books, for one book for 5 days, another book for 4 days, small book. But I thought that, okay, let's read a book which has some great knowledge, and it will take some time for me to digest this knowledge. So I really wanted to read the book Start With Why, but very slowly. So this book is talks a lot about because there are a lot of things that we do in our life, but we don't know that why we do certain things. And if we know the why, the magic starts to happen. And the companies like Apple does this a lot. That's why we purchase their product. So but yeah, there are a lot of great things on this book as well. It certainly talks a little bit about businessy side, but I think it's equally important for anyone. Let me just focus this better. Okay, so let me just check the book, because when I read the book, I always read this cover page and the on the back side as well. So that's what I like to do, because this book is written by Simon Sinek. And if you haven't watched his TED talk, I highly recommend you watch his TED talks. Even if you don't read the book, I highly recommend that you listen to Simon Sinek. His TED talks are awesome. So he's a TED talk sensation as well, because the TED talks of him is so engaging that you feel like, okay, I want to know more, right? So let's just see what he has to say. So this book is for anyone who wants to inspire others or to be inspired. It's not only that you need to inspire others, you can be inspired as well. So because the stories written in this book is all about stories. There are a lot of stories about great personalities in this book. So let's go ahead and just read this. And I really like the color of this book. This book certainly changes color that you see. Yeah, can you see that? Yeah, I hope you can see this on the screen. So yeah, just like this, and just go ahead and just read this book. So yeah, I'm gonna start reading from the introduction, and as well as the I'm gonna read 2 chapters today. That is the part 1, obviously. So yeah, that won't be a tough read, so that will be a very small read from today. So let's go ahead and just read it. And if you're reading with me, please follow me on all my social handles after the stream is done, obviously. Before I read this, I want to tell you that the author start with a note that there are some people or some leaders or company actually start with why, and this is not something that we are born with. We can obviously learn from others, and we can integrate this thing in our company on or in ourselves as well. That we need to start with why, right? So we all can learn this. That's a very positive note the author has started this book, right? Okay. So this story is written in a very small manner, but the story is actually huge, and our book can be written. I don't know whether any book available or not in this story. Please let me know if there is some book. This is about the Wright brothers. So the Wright brothers actually invented the aeroplane, the technology of the plane. Yes, that the plane that we can travel from one country to another, one city to another, very in a very short amount of time, and in a very enjoyable manner, I would say. So yeah, the story is like goes like this. There was a guy called Samuel Pierpont Langley. So Langley, if you I hope you have heard about Langley's as well. So it was 1900s, and he had all this thing. He was a senior officer at the Smithson Institution, mathematics professor, also He also worked at Harvard, so his friend also have some powerful men in government and business, like Andrew Carnegie, Alexander Graham Bell. So he has also given like $50,000 from War Department to fund his project that he was working on, right? And he had all the best minds with him to actually work on this project. And they also used the finest materials, right? And people and press were following him because he was working on some this very passionate project. So, and with all the great resources, so it was like that this his success was guaranteed. It was just about the time that when it will come. But 100 miles away there was Wilbur and Orville, right? There are two Wright brothers. They were working on their own flying machine, and there was no resources. They didn't have much college degree or anything like that, but there was no government grants or anything like that. But still, in the December 1903, a small group actually witnessed that people they witnessed that people are taking flight for the first time in history. It may sound very normal to us as a people, because we fly. We already we already have the experience to be on a airplane. But think about a time where this kind of things would have been like a like magical world, because it's like a people are flying. So how can people fly with aeroplane, right? So that's the thing. And it was actually done, and they were succeeded in the history. They were not better equipped. They didn't have the A team or anything like that, but still they was able to pull off this thing. And they were Wright brothers, because Wright brothers actually started with why. So if your why is clear, it's very important that you need to have a clear why, right? So yeah. So it's a story of Apple, and I hope there are some people who is really fan of Apple. So Apple actually start with from the Wozniak. Wozniak actually designed the Apple computer. So his vision was to reach, you know, reach to the people who, as much as you can with the personal computers, because at that time, like in the 1965s or 1970, there was not much, 1976 around time, when there was not much people were not using much personal computers, because personal computers was reserved for the organizations. But then Wozniak designed the Apple one, and he went to the people with this, and with a vision that people will actually buy this. But there is a thing that Simon Sinek says that no matter how visionary or brilliant you are, a great idea or great product isn't worth much if no one buys it, right? So it doesn't really matter that how much better idea you have. If no one buys it, it doesn't really matter what you are creating, right? So suppose I am creating awesome fabulous videos every day, but I'm not talking about this 30-day reading challenge, because I'm doing this only for myself. And if someone is getting inspired or reading with me, that is my honor. So, and also here's the thing, so if no one buys it, it doesn't really matter, right, at the end of the day. So if I'm making videos for the good and no one sees it, it doesn't really matter how visionary I am, how much good intention I have for the world, right? It doesn't really matter. So but that time Wozniak best friend Steve Jobs was 21 years old, and he knew exactly what to do, because he had experience of sales as well. So and so they he merged with Steve Jobs. They made this company $100 million. They bring $100 million in sale, and in fourth year they sold like 100 millions worth of computers only. So, and he said that they weren't the smart guys in the business. In fact, they did not know much about business at all. What has made Apple special is that they have been able to repeat the pattern over and over, right? So if you have seen Apple, you might be saying that they can still Apple is able to repeat the same thing again and again. People really purchase their stand and magic keyboard, I guess what it says. Yeah. So in a very high price, and there are some airports which properly does not even fit in the ears, I don't know, but still people love this kind of design. So still Apple is able to sell this in very high priced as well. So yeah, so they can repeat it, right? So Martin Luther King actually organized a civil rights movement. So he to so for that he wanted wanted people together at August 28, 1963 at 11 a.m. So he knew that people, so there were no site to check it, there was no website to check the date, and they also did not send thousands of invitations. But the so the actual motive was like to change the America for the good. excuse me. So the actual motive was to like change the America for the good, for the civil rights. People knew what to change in the America, but there was not much action. But here Martin Luther King, not Junior, actually came up with a dream, and his tagline was like, "I have a dream." So that will change change actually America. So a lot of people actually comes at this without any invitation or anything like that. That's really inspiring. That even in our events, if we organize any event in Facebook or any other term, we have a lot of social media friends or groups, but how many people actually appear, right? So we need to actually ask ourselves that why didn't people actually appear in this. So we need to understand, so we need to start with why. I think that's really important, that why we are doing. If we are so much inspired with something that we are doing, people are going to join us together in this movement. And I really believe that people actually love this kind of things, because they love this challenge to change something to be better. And yeah, so let's just read this. This is the introduction of this. So yeah. So he had to say one thing. There are a lot of examples, but he says that great leaders can inspire people to act, right? So it is really different than with what we think. So great leaders actually can, inspire you to take some actions. So that is the power of a great leader. And also he says that all the industry and in this industry who actually start with why and actually has great leaders actually communicate exactly alike, right? So all the people who has greater well-being and actually starting with why, they communicate exactly alike, like the same way that, but it is opposite for the other organizations, right? And if you haven't subscribed me on YouTube, that is the thing that you see right now on the top of the screen. And also you can follow me on Instagram, because I post a lot of photos and videos. I think I do it every day nowadays. And in ImpleBooks Twitter, you can get all the beautiful quotes that I really liked from my Kindle or any other book that I'm reading. And also, if you really want everything, like each and everything that I post, Facebook is there. Facebook is their dumping ground, knowledgeable dumping ground, right? And there is Twitch. You can follow me every time you want to see me live streaming, right? Thank you so much. I really don't want you to overwhelmed. You can follow me anywhere where you are much more active. You don't need to go there and everywhere and just follow me around. So you can follow me wherever you like, right? So okay. So here is a very nice thing about this, his imagination, his vision of Simon Sinek. So says that I imagine a world in which the ability to inspire is practiced not just by a chosen few but by majority. Studies show that over 80% of Americans do not have their dream job. I think it's in India it's almost same. I think, I don't know the numbers because I have just recently read the factfulness, so I don't really want to assume just like this. Maybe you just research and let me know. I will do my own research as well. So yeah, studies show that over 80% of Americans do not have their dream job. If more knew how to build organizations that inspire, we could live in a world in which that statistics was the reverse. A world in which over 80% of people loved their jobs. People who love going to work are more productive and more creative. They go home happier and have happier families. They treat their colleagues and clients and customers better. Inspired employees make for stronger companies and stronger economies. That is why I wrote this book. I hope to inspire others to do the things that inspire them, so that together we may build the companies, the economy, and a world in which trust and loyalty are the norm and not the exception, right? So that is the actual way, actual vision of this vision of writing this book, right? So it's beautiful. So for those who have an open mind for new ideas, who seek to create long lasting success, and who believe that your success requires the aid of others, I offer you a challenge. From now on, start with why, right? So it's very important that you start with why, right? So this is the part one that I'm going to start reading today. So that says that world does not start with why. A world that does not start with why, right? So let's read the part one. Number one chapter is assume you know, right? So here the first chapter actually getting started. So I'm going to read the assume you know and carrot and sticks, I guess. Both of these chapters are important, guys. So I'm not reading the book for the first time. This is my second read, and I quite like this book on the first read, but I was a little bit rushed through the book, I would say. So I just wanted to grab the most out of it. So I have almost like 22 pages left to read. So yeah, let's go ahead and just read. Excuse me, guys. So here's the thing about that. He said that we make assumption. So he has written a storyline, and if you read this, and if you have idea of a little bit of history, you will guess that this is John F. He's talking about John F. Kennedy, but when he added the date that it actually happening on the January 30, 1933, you will actually need to question this, because he's talking about Adolf Hitler. So it's totally different person he's talking about. So he says that we make a lot of assumption. Excuse me. Our behavior is affected by our assumptions or our perceived truths. We make decisions based on what we think we know, right? So the Simon Sinek said that we actually make decisions based on what we know. We as a human being, we make assumptions a lot. So our decisions are actually based on these assumptions. And here is a great example that he has given of his friend. So whenever his friend used to make good money in the stocks, he used to always praise his brain or his choice of picking stocks. But when he used to lost money in the stock market, he actually used to blame the market. So Simon Sinek in this case asks says that there might be two things. Uh, there might be one thing that is responsible for his success and failure. Either his brain is really fine, either his brain or the market, right? So that can't be both, right? So we actually make this kind of assumptions, and we think that we know a lot of things, right? So naturally, we may think that to actually get rid of to take control of this kind of situation where we need to make correct assumption. So we need more data. Logic says that we need more data, and we need to read more books, we need to attend conferences, listen to podcasts, ask friends and colleagues. But do you think that he's saying that, do you think it's going to help? Because we are still making assumptions, right? So just better assumptions, right? So yeah. So he says that we need to keep on other factors as well, that exist outside of our rational, analytical, information hungry brains, right? Here is a beautiful story where American car executives actually went to Japan to see how Japan actually make their assembly line. So they were watching those people working, and they were seeing that the door were like put on hinges. It was like same like United States. They used to do the same thing, but when they put the car, door in the car, in there was one thing missing, right? In America, they what they do is they use the rubber mallet and tap the edges to the door to ensure that the door is actually fitting to the car perfectly, because if the door does not fit to the car perfectly, that will be a disaster for the for the car company and the people they will be selling this car to. So they actually make sure that whether this car actually, the door is actually fits or not correctly, the Americans, right? But Japanese seems to like they don't do it. So the car executives were like, okay, why you guys don't do this, where we actually, why do you guys actually don't make sure that if it is fitting or not? So with that, the Japanese said that we make it fit by design, so we do not need to check that whether this door actually fits or not. When we make the car door, we actually make sure the design is so perfect that it will fit, right? So what Japanese does is like they find out the root cause of the not fitting the car door perfectly to the car, and they actually solve this thing by design, right? So that they don't need to do this checking like every time whether the car door is actually fitting or not, right? So it was really awesome. So that they said that they actually make it they make it it's like we make sure it fits when we design it, right? So it's like fit from the design itself, right? Okay. So the example was given for this reason because see, rubber mallets was used to like solve a certain problem, but for the shorter period of time, because this problem is going to come again, they need to recheck the car door actually fits again or not through the rubber band again, and they need to keep doing this every time. But Japanese actually make this fit by design, so they don't need to check it. So he says that in um, organizations that actually don't start with why, there are lots of problems going on, they come up with short term solutions that okay, this is the plan that we will execute and all these problems are going to go away. But this does not seems to work, he said. And they said that this problem actually exists because those companies actually don't try to find the root cause and eliminate it, right? So the chapter 1 is complete with that, and the chapter 2 is carrots and sticks. The chapter names are very relatable when you will read this, and I quite don't like this kind of chapter namings because this does not tell anything about the about the thing that we are going to read in the chapter. So yeah, in the Atomic Habits, I have always used to say that look at the chapter names. It's so beautifully written that I can understand that what we are going to find out in the chapter. So but for the start with, why I don't see any kind of chapter naming. So we are almost at the chapter, page 17, and we need to read a little bit of like okay, 34. That is like 17 pages more, right? So I really need to read this because this is so a valuable piece of it's, I won't say advice, it's the actual thing that really happens. So yeah, there is barely a product or service on the market today that customers can't buy from someone else for about the same price. Yeah, we always have alternatives as a customer, right? About the same quality, about the same level of service, and about the same features, right? Talk about mobile phones, there are a lot of Android phones out there, and all of them almost like give the same features, same customer service, and almost like same experience, right? So if you truly have a first movers advantage, it's probably lost in the matter of months. So even a mobile phone suppose come to the first in the market, he will lose this first movers advantage in a month, because somebody is going to come up with another new phone with better design or better function, right? So if you offer something truly novel, someone else will soon come up with something similar and maybe even better. So if you provide something that is novel also, that is, you're giving something to your customers and people were not giving it this previously, some people are going to still come up with some other solutions and with better results, right? So here's the thing, so we can't really run companies or product just like thinking about that, okay, we're doing something noble for the society. Yeah, there should be something that should be noble, but only this thinking will not let you have customers or gain customers, because alternatives are going to come, right? So here is a very nice thing he talked about, like if you ask most of the businesses like why their customers are their customers, a lot of business can't really answer this. They say that, okay, we have better service, we have better price, we give better features. Actually, he says that most of the companies have no clue why some customers are their customers, right? So he's saying that if those companies don't know why some customers are their customers, they don't even know that why their employees are their employees, right? So yeah, there are only two ways to influence human behavior. You can manipulate it or you can inspire it, right? Two way, like manipulation is like so let me just read it, so I will tell you in a better way. So it's like when we used to actually give out give out our candies to say that, hey, I'll be your best friend. So if you just if you give me this candy, and okay, and or maybe we give someone candy and say that, okay, be my friend. So this is just like that, this is called manipulation, right? So you're giving something yeah, to the customer and thinking that they will come to you and be your friend or be your long-term customer. So this is called the manipulation. You give something to the customer, right? So here he gave an example, like when we think about the same manipulation, like you are giving some discount to the customer, and people, when you give customers a discount, they become this, junkie. Okay, they need more discounts. Yeah, it's also same for us. Think about it, we as a consumer need more discounts. Suppose I'm getting a discount for in this book, like I'm getting this discount of like 20%. And next time if I go to that site and try to buy similar kind of book, I will be expecting 20 to 25% discount again, right? So this is the thing that is problematic. Also, he says that he's not saying that it is bad tactics to actually give discounts, actually lower the prices down to gain customer. But he's saying that this is really not, for the long term you can't really stay profitable if you keep doing this thing for a longer period of time. So he says that. And but he says that Walmart actually is an exception in this rule. So, so they actually made a big successful business playing this price game, right? Okay. But it hurt his reputation and all the things around the company as well. So it was not really good for the long term purpose, you can say, right? And yeah. So price here is a very nice thing. Price always costs something. The question is, how much are you willing to pay for the money you make, right? So, and he has given an example of GM was the General Motors. So it was also a popular thing in the US, but Toyota had the most market share. So US people were buying foreign cars rather than the cars that is General Motors in the US. So what General Motor did is, like, they started giving incentives to the people who actually bought their car. They have given incentives from $500 to $7,000 to their customers. So it's a huge amount of money they have given, even at that time in the 1990s, right? So but so their sales were going up again. People were buying their car and the trucks. But after some time, they were losing $729 per vehicles. So that's when they think that, okay, this is not the sustainable or profitable model. So what they did is they said that, okay, there will be no cashback or nothing like that. The moment they did it, people started, their sales started dropping. And because there was no cashback, there was no customers as well. Actually, they made this expectation to the customer that customers, there is nothing called full price. People are going to get some incentives as well. So it's obvious for us as well. Suppose when I buy a book, somebody sends me a 20% or 30% of this of this amount to me through mail, or maybe they send me to my bank account after 15 days. So whenever I will go ahead and try to purchase a book, I will always expect that somebody send me the money to my bank account, and there is no such thing called full price. That's obvious for us as a consumer, but what kind of consumer they are creating, right? So yeah, so there that expectation actually, it really leads the company to something. So they actually leads the company to not profit, actually said. So they were losing money, they were losing the sales and everything, right? Yeah, I want to read this as it is from this here, as it's really very, written in a very brilliant tone. So whether it is two for one or free toy inside, promotions are such common manipulations that we often forget that we are being manipulated in the first place. Next time you are in the market for a digital camera, for example, pay attention to how you make your decision. You will easily find 2 or 3 cameras with the specifications you need: size, number of megapixel, comparable price, good brand name, but perhaps one has a promotion, a free carrying case, or a free memory card. Given the relative parity of the features and benefits, that little something extra is sometimes all it takes to tip the scale, right? In the business to business world, promotions are called value added, but the principles are the same. Give something away for free to reduce the risk so that someone will do business with you. And like price, promotions work, right? So business give this kind of promotions or the price down because of some just to gain the customer attention, that okay, I'm giving something extra with that as well. So that is manipulation, right? That people, you are getting the same features or same benefits and same kind of things in a different kind of products as well, but one product is giving you something extra, like a case or a cover. There is a cleaning kit, maybe something they are giving. You lean towards this brand, but why? That is called the manipulation, because that brand is actually manipulating you to buy their products, right? So rebate is one more thing that is very shady, and people really can't stop that much, because rebating is like when you pay the full price of the for a product, including the tax around this full price. And it's obviously you are paying, suppose you are paying $100, and you will be taxed on the $100 bill, right? So you pay the whole amount, and then you expect that you will get rebate of like 20%. And if you say, and you need to fill in your address details, bank account, and all that information, and you send it, and you need to send it out. And if there is something wrong, the rebate may take up to like 4 months, or maybe it can be void as well. So it's very shady, and it works for the retailers who actually start this kind of rebating process, but yeah, not for the consumers, right? So he's talking about that like fear is the most powerful manipulation for the of this lot, because there are a lot of ways to manipulate people, and fear is the most powerful manipulation in this case. Because if you're fearful about something, you are going to take decisions irrationally without thinking much about this. So yeah. And there is he's saying that fear is everywhere. Like here is an example of public service ad which were like saying people uh, not to have drugs. So this is like this for the drug abusers, this commercial goes like this: "This is your brain," the man's voice said as he held up a pristine white egg. Then he cracked the egg into a frying pan of splattering hot oil. "This is your brain on drugs. Any questions?" So this kind of fear, actually, that fearful advertisement, I would say. Because even if you watch the television, you see in India, to actually stop people from smoking, what kind of fear they actually try to show us. Yes, this fear is real, but yeah, they try to show this, right? And in a way that is not really good and or sexy. So yeah, so people may stay away from smoking, but how many people actually stop smoking after that, uh, after that ad of Mukesh? I just want to just let me know in the comments that how many people actually stopped smoking after they watched the story of Mukesh in every cinema, every cinema, and each and every cinema started, they used to see, show us this ads. But I'm just really curious that how much it worked. Okay. Okay, so and also he's saying that some insurance companies also try to sell you insurance, saying that okay, your health or life is at risk, you should buy the insurance. Okay, yeah, maybe that is also that is it's not it, it's the case, but do we really need this right now? We need to understand this, right? So here's the thing that I want to quote it from as it is: "If anyone has ever sold you anything with a warning to fear the consequences if you don't buy it, they are using a proverbial gun to your head to help you see the value of choosing them over their competitor. Or perhaps it's just a banana, but it works." So it's like, hey, buy our insurance. We give the uh, fastest disbursement to your family. The moment you die, your family get the money. So this kind of manipulation actually works. Excuse me. I think insurance company is cursing me. And I hope, I feel that you should always take an insurance if it is you can afford, right? It's important for the family and for the well-being. here is another way to manipulation is like aspirations is like eat this pill and you will be slimmer in 30 days, and join our gym, you will be slimmer in 60 days. So this kind of shady techniques is like is this aspiration. So aspirations, the author Simon Sinek is saying that aspirations are needed for those people who can't really achieve that specific thing. So, and also like 6 easy steps to lose weight, and this kind of shady techniques or the aspirations, sometimes it works for people. And he's saying that people who really wants to get fit, people who are fit, who are going to the gym for a longer period of time, they don't really fall for this like lose 6 steps to losing weight and all this kind of stuff, right? They actually go to gym for the sake of their sake of being fit, right, and to stay fit, right, and to stay active. He says that we need discipline in this area, so we can't really do with these aspirations, right? This does not really work. He also says that in January gym gym membership actually the sale of gym membership started increasing by 12% because a lot of people wants to get fit as a new year resolution. But still, how many people go there to actually gym after 3-4 months or maybe 1 month, right? So here's the thing. So aspirational messages are only effective for a specific consumer market who don't have this, right? So he's saying, right? So he said that this thing actually applicable for the applicable for the businesses as well. Businesses actually sell this kind of same thing like to other businesses, saying that okay, we will help you grow your business and all that kind of stuff. But he said that this kind of system may sometime work for a shorter period of time, but for the longer period it's not really something that is going to work in the long term for you. So here's the thing. He says that there was a management consultant friend was Simon Sinek, and she said that no matter whatever she explained to the company, that these are the things that is really good for the company for the long period of time, for the longer period of time, but they would never listen. So here's the quote. Here's the same thing that I want to quote, that his friend, Simon Sinek's friend, said, they never have the time or money to do it right the first time, she said of her client, but they always have the time and money to do it again, right? So when they do it first time, they don't have time or money, like okay, I can't really invest so much time and money into this, get it out, just make it. But they always have the money to do this again, right? Because there was a problem in the first time, right? So okay, another fact and another way to manipulate is like peer pressure. Okay, so let's go ahead and see what is it. So here's the thing, we as a people like to follow the cult, like to follow the people or a group of following. Otherwise we have this FOMO is like fear of missing out. So we if we see that a lot of people are doing some stuff, we as a human being tends to go towards this thing. We feel that okay, if we don't do this thing at the specific amount period of time, we will be missing out something. We will be missing out these experiences that people are actually having, people are really enjoying, or some group of people are doing this constantly. So we are really missing out these experiences. So we as a human being have this peer pressure. Our friends are doing this, our relatives are doing this, our relatives are having this car, and our friends are are doing this, our friends are buying Apple MacBooks. We need to buy this as well because a lot of people are buying it, right? What's the reason? What's the purpose? Nothing. We just wanted to go for it because a lot of people are doing this, right? So this is called the peer pressure. And he says that maybe you have seen some advertisements where people are, celebrities are advertising that you have this drink and you be like me. So in India we see this, like Virat Kohli doing this advertisement of, Virat Kohli is a cricketer in India, so he does this advertisement for Boost. So whenever he drink Boost, so this is the reason Virat Kohli is a great cricketer, because he drinks Boost. That's what small children actually feels that, so they tend towards this kind of drink, which is not really good for the health, I would say. So and these are the reason that that is called the peer pressure. And peer pressure is kind of really works, I would say. So here is a great example where suppose a salesman is telling you that 70% of the people use our product. So you may ask this, what if 70% of the people are idiots buying your product, right? So So here he says that, to quote my mother, if your friends put their head in the oven, would you do that too? Sadly, if Michael Jordan or Tiger Woods was paid to do just that, it might actually start a trend. So when Motorola came out with its blazing thin mobile phone called Razr, yes, you may have heard about this phone. And that when that phone actually came, I was like so much fascinated to see this slim Motorola phones used to be very slimmer than the other phones, but Razr was some other another level. And he said that a lot of prime minister also was like seeing, talking to one of the phones, right? So their sales were like 50 million people, units were sold actually. And the CEO actually said that it was a great innovation by the Motorola in the wireless category. But he says that how long that it will sustain. After, so Simon Sinek said that after 4 years their stock were going down, and the people were not like that much crazy about the Razr, right? Because they've already seen it. Why should we again go for it? Here is a very nice thing he talk about, like real innovation changes the course of industries or even society. The light bulb, the microwave oven, the fax machine, iTunes, these are the true innovations that change how we conduct business altered how we live our lives, and in the case of iTunes, challenged an industry to completely evaluate its business model, right? So this is the thing that is called innovation. We can't really make a small phone smaller and or slimmer and call it an innovation, right? So the real innovations are like this, who actually change the course of the society, right? Yeah. Here's the thing, I want to again read it. Adding a camera to a mobile phone, for example, is not an innovation, a great feature for sure, but not industry altering. With this revised definition in mind, even Motorola's own description of its new products become just a list of few great features, right? A metal case, a hidden antenna, flat keypad, and a thin phone. So all these features, that all the things that you are giving to the customer, is make sure that it's not really features. The innovations actually are like who changes the course of the society. It's not something that just a feature, right? Here I want to read it because as I have marked it previously as well, because it was so written beautifully. Features are more a novelty than an innovation. They are added in an attempt to differentiate but not reinvent. It's not a bad thing, but it can't be counted on to add any long-term value. Novelty can drive sales, but the impact does not last, right? So and the difference between innovation and the novelty is like, in innovation you actually do something that changes the course of the society, but in the novelty you get different from others, but you don't reinvent anything, right? So there is no invention, you just look different than others. Suppose I have a clock in front of me. I made this clock the most slimmer clock in the world, or maybe some transparent features in this clock. So that will be a feature of the clock. There would be like, it's a society groundbreaking something I have made. The functionality of clock is still there, people can see the time in there only, right? Maybe it's really convenient to see the time, like it's transparent, or maybe you can open your hand, the clock is opening up. This kind of innovations that you do, it's not really innovations, it actually novelty. You did add features to it, and great features to it, that's just a novelty, right? So that's the difference. And this does not add any long-term value. If this kind of features can make huge and long-term value to the people's lives, then it's gonna work, right? So just opening your hand, if it shows the time, if it is a long-term if it's something that help people in the long term, that's just my example I'm giving. So this is a innovation. So make sure that you are innovating, right? The author is not saying something like that. So here is a very nice thing again. It also works same like the price drop, because the companies do this kind of drop their price and give discounts or incentives to the customer to gain customer. So he says that novelty is also like this. The more you give novelty, customers wants more novelty from you, right? So suppose I make a slimmer mobile phone, people will ask me for slimmest one right? For the next sale, right? People will ask me for more and more novelty. Do something, keep doing something, right? But this is not going to change any course or the history, for it is not going to change anything in the long term of the people, because it's just a phone at the end of the day. The example is giving in terms of the phone, but I think it works for any kind of product here, right? Okay. So novelty's example is there. It's our favorite toothpaste called Colgate. So there's a great example of example of Colgate, because because in previous times when there was toothpaste was like out, it doesn't used to taste good. So people did really were not that much motivated to actually brush their teeth so much. They used to use the natural processes to like uh, to actually brush their teeth. But the thing is that what other companies does, companies like Colgate, they started bringing flavor like mint to it, so that you feel fresh after you brush your teeth. So people were really liking this kind of taste, and they used to like put some taste also, like, so that you enjoy really the process of like brushing your teeth. So one after another they started keep giving this novelties. They started making different kind of flavors of Colgate. So nowadays there are like 32 products of Colgate. So today there are 32 different types of Colgate toothpaste, excluding the 4 they make for kids. So there are 4 product Colgate also make for kids. So if you really want your kids to brush your teeth, there are 4 products of kids, right? And given how each company respond to the innovation of the other, that means that Colgate's competitor also sell a similar number of variants that offer about the same quality, about the same benefits at about the same price. So to compete with Colgate, there are other brands which they also make the same amount of same kind of things, same varieties, same things at the same price, right? So there he's saying that there are literally dozens and dozens of toothpaste to choose from, yet there is no data to show that Americans are brushing their teeth more now than they were in the 1970s. Thanks to all this innovation, it has become almost impossible to know which toothpaste is right for you. There are 32 toothpaste from Colgate, and there are also other brands which also sells a similar kind of product. So we don't know which toothpaste to choose from. Here is a very funny thing he has written, so much so that even Colgate offers a link on their website called Need Help Deciding. If Colgate needs to help us pick one of their products because there are too many variations, how are we supposed to decide when we go to the supermarket without their website to help us, right? So in the Colgate website there is something called Need Help Deciding. Which one is good, which toothpaste is good for you? Let us decide for you, right? So if you go to the Colgate website, I don't know whether it exists still, but maybe it exists, because I think there are a lot of other products also come by Colgate. I don't know. Yeah, maybe. So this is something called novelty. It's not really innovation. We people companies call this innovation, but these are not really innovations. These are just a novelty, and this actually confuses the consumers only, and they don't feel any value to the product that they are purchasing or buying. So it's really important that you provide innovation instead of this just the novelty, right? So Apple iPhones were replaced. Razr phone was replaced by the Apple iPhones, and author says that yes, they replaced all these buttons in the phone, and they made it totally fully touchscreen Apple iPhones. But they are great, novelties. He's saying that they are great features only, but anyone can make this kind of touchscreen phones. But why Apple's stick is the reason that there is something that they did totally differently. What is they did that, what it is like, previously used to service providers like AT&T, Verizon, but in India it's like Vodafone, Airtel, Jio. So they used to tell to the manufacturer that how to comply with their network spectrum or services to actually manufacture those phones. But when Apple came, they were like other way around. They said that we will tell the we will tell the you know to the distributor of your network that how they will comply with our phone, right? So AT&T at that time was in the agreement with Apple iPhone, and they really showed up with this new technology that Apple brings. So it's totally different, something that Apple did. That is called the innovation, right? So yeah, that actually changed the course of history, because phones were deciding that what to do in the phone, not not to keeping in mind about the network service provider, because network service provider has to comply with the phone manufacturer, right? So they can innovate, right? Yeah. She said lastly he asked, noble, huh? So it's not really noble. This is innovation. This is innovation, right? So yeah. So there is a difference between loyalty and repeat business. So repeat business is when people do business with you multiple times. That is called repeat business. So customers are coming back to you. Loyalty is when people are willing to turn down a better product or a better price to continue doing business with you. Loyal customers don't even bother to research the competition or entertain other options. Loyalty is not easily won. Repeat business, however, is all it takes is more manipulations. Repeat business is like giving more manipulations. So suppose in suppose I buy my groceries from the app called the Grofers. So Grofers is pretty popular in India. So I buy my groceries from this website because they give me this discount. There is some card discount, there is some discount in the wallet, they give cashbacks. So I'm really happy that the price is so much down. They give me a better price compared to other market like Amazon or a big basket in India. So but the reason I go for the Grofers is because they are giving the low price only. There is no such other reason. They are giving me this constant manipulations. It's a good it is advantageous for us because I'm getting a lower price there. Obviously that's why I'm buying. If in next day Amazon starts giving lower prices than Grofers, or Big Basket starts giving lower prices than Grofers, I will switch to their product. I don't care about the Grofers, right? So here's the thing, they have made me a repeat customers. I've been using Grofers for like 1.5 years or 2 years, but I'm a repeat customer, but I am not a loyal customer. If some other products come, I will surely switch back to it. So he says that loyalty is not easily won. Repeat business, however, is all it takes. It's more manipulation. Give users a lot of manipulations. Keep giving them manipulations. People are going to come back to you. That is called repeat business. But loyalty is something where people will turn down a product which is better, or they will not even research the competitors. Like if I'm loyal to the Grofers, I won't be researching about, like, I won't be seeing prices on other website that whether they are giving low prices or not. So I won't be care. Even if I see that they are giving low prices, I'll be like, no, they are giving something better service to us. I will be stick to the Grofers. But they are not doing something like that. And yeah, so they made me a repeat customer, but not a loyal customer, right? So yeah. So the point of all this story is like manipulations are perfectly valid strategy for driving a transaction or for any behavior that is only required once or on rare occasions. Suppose your kitten is lost, your dog is lost, you are saying that I will give like prize money of this much, so if I get my dog. So you don't want to build a longer relationship with that person who returns your dog or cat back. You just want your cat or dog back, right? Nothing else. So this kind of manipulations work if you want to like do some one time transaction, or in a very rare occasions you want to do it. This manipulations actually does work, right? So when Southwest Airlines were like having some problem with the money, and people come to them sending them letters and sending them posting the money, and there was a $1,000 check saying that you have been so good to me over the years. In these hard times, I wanted to say thank you by helping you out. So author is saying that, see, these checks are actually not helping the Southwest Airlines, but see the feelings of the people are with the Southwest Airlines, right? So this is the kind of loyalty that you need to create. People, what they're getting by sending those checks of $1,000, $500, they're getting nothing. They're just loyal customers, right? So they're not even traveling to the plane, right? So they come forward because they felt that okay, Southwest Airlines is there. So that's why Southwest is the most profitable airline in the history, right? So because if you I don't know if you know that, because airlines industry are never goes in the profit much, because they are almost most of the time they are in the loss. But Southwest Airline is the you know most profitable in the history, right? I'm going to read this because I quite like this. That's why I marked it. Knowing you have a loyal customer and employee base not only reduces costs, it provides massive peace of mind. Like loyal friends, you know your customers and employees will be there for you when you need them the most. It is the feeling of we are in this together, shared between customer and company, voter and candidate, boss and employee, that defines great leaders, right? So having loyal customers actually give you this peace of mind. Whenever something goes wrong, you know that these people are with me, right? So it feels like that we are all in this together. If something goes wrong, if something goes good as well, so we are all in this together. So that's called the loyal customer, right? So that's really important that we focus much more in the loyal customer rather than making some quick cash or money, right? So he says that all the manipulations and all the things, all the peer pressure that company created, actually it makes our systems weaker and weaker. So it does not really help in the long term, and also it does not really help much in the short term as well. Maybe some sales, other than that not much, right? So he's saying that in today's world, manipulation manipulations are the norm. And also, if you don't know about the 2008 market crash in the America, it actually impacts the whole world, including India as well. So they were actually giving incentives to the people, to the aspiring home buyers, to buy home which they, more than they can afford. So but after that the policy started changing, and the crash really eventually happened. So it was in around 2008. It was a huge disaster crash of the market. So if you want to read more about it, you can just search it. It was how much disaster it was. So if you want to follow me on Facebook, Instagram and YouTube, please go ahead and do that, because we have done the part 1 today, and that is chapter 1. And chapter 2 we are going to read the part 2, that is alternative perspective. He's saying that there is an alternative rather than manipulation. So I'm very excited to read that what are the alternatives of manipulation. So you see, because I can see that only manipulations are the way to actually bring customers, like making this peer pressure and and giving this incentives, constantly giving incentives or something like that. So, and also creating this kind of novelty, adding one features after another, and also aspirations, like you are going to get this result in 2 days or 5 days, this kind of. Other than that, there are, and also this fear, like, so other than that there are other alternatives as well, creating, other than creating this manipulation. So we are going to read about this tomorrow. And if you're reading with me, thank you so much again. And I am ImpleBooks everywhere. So if you really haven't followed me or subscribe my channel on YouTube, that is my handle on YouTube. So just subscribe me on YouTube. And if you really want good pictures and good reels, I upload videos in Instagram every day. It's not every day, every alternate day. So you can follow me on Instagram, and then Twitter, where I post my favorite quotes from the book that I've been reading, that favorite lines. And also in the Facebook, I dump everything in Facebook. So if you want everything, every good knowledgeable stuff, Facebook is the only go to go. And every time I stream, I go to the Twitch, so you can find me. That is for the gamers, but I do it, who cares. Thank you so much again for watching this live stream. And I really love this that how this book actually changes the color. See, the color is changed. Okay, I need to stop doing that. Thank you so much again for watching, and I hope you have a good day. And yeah, I forgot to wish you happy Diwali yesterday, so doesn't really matter. Happy Diwali again. I have posted a lot of things in Instagram regarding Diwali, so I apologize that I didn't wish you guys here. So today I'm wishing you happy Diwali, and have a safe